Big news. Usborne Books More has rebranded completely. New name, new colors, new logo. They've bought out new companies, so they're selling different things. Their agreement with Usborne Publishing has changed. So they're going through a huge transition period, and I'm pretty sure that no one on the anti-MLM side of things is going to be talking about it. I think I might be the only anti-MLM creator out there who came from Usborne Books More. So I have to talk about this. You need to know what's going on, and I have so many thoughts to share. So if you are interested in hearing all about UBAM's rebranding, give this video a like real quick for me and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming anti-MLM content. Also, real quick, I do have an anti-MLM playlist. I will link up here. I always forget which side it's on, but if you want to learn more about why I quit multi-level marketing for good and kind of more of my take on things, definitely check out that playlist. It is very bingeable. I know I love binging anti-MLM content. And with that being said, quick disclaimer, I was just going to get into it, but quick disclaimer, I've been sick like forever, so I know that my voice doesn't sound like it usually does, so I apologize if it bothers you. Hopefully it doesn't. I'm like almost done with this, but yeah, so that's all I have to say. Let's talk about this rebrand. Hi, I'm Kelly Nascimento, and I was in multi-level marketing for about 7 years, and after a while I realized that I really could not work with the integrity that I wanted to because an MLM is an MLM, and so now I share all of my thoughts, perspectives, opinions, experiences, and the experiences of others to help educate on the dangers of multi-level marketing and expose the truth, the things that they don't tell you. So today we have a really interesting topic. I have never experienced or covered a total rebrand of a direct sales company. I know that companies have gone through them, but I was an Usborne Books More consultant until July, I think, July-ish, 2022, and I'm filming this at the end of the year in December when the rebrand is going public, and so I feel very closely tied to this one. And really, even more of the reason that I feel closely tied to it is because around the time I was starting to consider quitting, leaving UBAM and leaving MLM for good, they announced that the rebrand was happening. And I immediately knew that, like, I did not want to deal with that. I did not want to go through that. I felt like it was very likely that that rebrand could hurt my business. And honestly, it was like already hurting. And I say business because I don't know what else to call it. That's what every direct sales rep and consultant calls it. They call it their business. So I always did that, and I still haven't really found another good word for it. So if I say that, just know I don't really believe that it's their own business. And this rebrand just proves it. We'll talk more about that in detail. Let me get my head on straight and make sure I hit all the points that I want to hit on this. First, let's just talk about the rebrand, and let's talk about the name, talk about the logo, what everything looks like, their purpose behind the rebrand, or what they're saying the reason is, what I think the reason actually might be, because I don't know if they're really sharing everything, but let's talk about that first. Okay, so I don't remember exactly when it was. It was like spring or summer 2022. So like I said, it was around the time where I was like, oh, I don't think this is working for me. I'm not sure I'm going to stay in this. Usborne Books More announced that ESRs, which I think stands for Educational Service or Services Representative, you have to like pay. I talked about this in my MLM Horror Stories video a little bit. I'll link that up above if you want to check that out. But they're ESRs. You pay to get basically certified as an ESR, and that allows you to work with schools and libraries directly. So they announced that their agreement with Usborne Publishing changed, and ESRs could no longer sell. And now this is going strictly by memory. I didn't look it up, so I could be wrong. So I'm not stating this as fact. I'm saying from my memory, I think that ESRs were no longer able to sell any Usborne books to a library directly. Like they could get Usborne books through their like programs, like fundraisers and things, I think, but they couldn't sell directly to the library. They could only sell Kane Miller books or any other offerings that Usborne Books More had. So something like that. They said that their agreement with Usborne Publishing changed. So if you didn't know, Usborne Publishing is based in the UK. They're a publisher that's been around since I think it's the 70s, and they later on created a direct sales division based in the US, and I believe Canada has their own as well. I worked with the US one, of course. So the direct sales division, Usborne Books and More, is separate. They first were called Usborne Books at Home. Then when they brought on Kane Miller Publishing, they sold Usborne Books and Kane Miller Books, and they changed their name to Usborne Books and More, and Kane Miller was like the and more. Later on, they did, I can't think of the word, but they basically bought Learning Wrap-Ups, and then recently, like just this year, they bought Smart Labs, I think it's called, and they create educational toys for kids, basically. So Usborne Books and More was comprised of all those things. So they had an agreement, like a relationship and policy and whatever, with Usborne Publishing, and it changed this year in 2022. When they announced that change for ESRs, a lot of people were very upset because obviously that's going to result in income loss for those ESRs who were selling thousands of dollars in books, including Usborne books. So they would lose that sale. And then in the comments of like the live video where home office, like corporate people announced the change, people were commenting that they were upset about the change. And, you know, they have a right to be, of course. And then, of course, there's upper level leaders in there who are always going to back and defend the company because they're making tons of money with them. And so they're just like gaslighting these people, basically just trying to keep the focus on the positive, you know, like, oh, well, you still have so many great Kane Miller books to sell, blah, 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 just completely ignoring their concerns and trying to turn the story and just look at the positive as if there's no validation to their complaint of the change. And so this is just the first example that proves that when you are a consultant for a multi-level marketing company, you do not own your own business. It is not your business. There are some decisions you can make, but there's so many decisions that you cannot make. The company can change policy or anything they want to at any time, and you have no say. And in this instance, this change was effective immediately. So they didn't even have a chance to like get any last orders in, let their libraries know like this change is coming. Are there books that you want to purchase now before we are unable to sell them to you? And then, you know, if these libraries want these Usborne books, they're going to find a different way to get them, right? So that ultimately is going to really hurt that consultant's business. So this was not a decision that was up to them. It was just put upon them, and it definitely was going to create a loss for some consultants. And so at this same time that they announced this change in agreement, they announced at the same time or around the same time, they announced that the rebrand was coming. So I immediately was like, this rebrand is going to be horrible, horrible for business, because one of the reasons I was so proud to be an Usborne Books and More consultant in comparison to working with any other multi-level marketing company was the brand recognition. Like, people know Usborne Books. I mean, comment below if you knew that Usborne Books and More was a multi-level marketing company. Did you even know they were an MLM? A lot of people don't because they sell Usborne books. And Usborne books are sold in like retail stores. I'm like, what do you call that? In retail stores, and people just don't even realize that they have this like separate direct sales division. And people love Usborne Books. I mean, my family loves them. A lot of people love Usborne Books. Like I said, they're really like a household name. They have a great product, high quality, and I believe for the quality, and even like compared to just books in general, like they're fairly affordable. They're at a fair price. And so I was very proud of that. And you know, that brand recognition helps your business, right? People come to you because they know you sell Usborne Books and they want to buy Usborne Books. Like nobody's reaching out to you because they want Kane Miller books. Even though Kane Miller has a lot of good books and people would buy them, you know, they wouldn't realize they were Kane Miller. Kane Miller is not like a name that people know. So to lose that name, Usborne, in your title is just like, it's gonna hurt business. It's inevitable. It's definitely gonna hurt business. And especially for the majority of consultants who haven't branded themselves, because branding yourself takes time and it often can take money because you have to come up with the name. You have to think about what your brand colors are gonna be. You might pay for someone to design the logo. I know I did that. I paid someone on Fiverr to design my logo for Kelly's Reading Corner. It takes time to kind of develop like your mission, like what do you want to be branded as based on like your purpose and your mission. And so all of that takes time and money, and a lot of consultants don't have that and don't, you know, spend the time and money for that individual branding. So they're relying on the Usborne name as part of Usborne Books and More for that brand recognition with their customers and potential customers. So to lose that, I just think is huge, and it's going to hit a lot of people really, really hard. And then of course, we'll get into this, but of course there's so much gaslighting going on. And if anyone has anything negative to say about the rebrand, there's upper level leaders and home office coming in, gaslighting, and just replying about just not even validating their concerns or their comments or anything, and just coming in with why it's so great, why it's so great, why it's so great, why it's so great. And this is just clearly like cult-like behavior, right? It's just drilling these thoughts into people's minds and trying to convince them that their reality is not reality, right? They're just saying, no, that's not true. Like it's this. And we see that a lot. And we talked about that in that MLM Horror Stories video that I recently posted, that even in like team pages, if you would post something that could be seen as negative, so if you would post like a struggle that you're having, like getting parties or, you know, getting the sales that you want or recruiting people or whatever, if the upper level leaders in charge of that team page deemed that as potentially like seen as negative, they didn't want other people that to like bring other people down, or like they didn't want to show those truths to their whole team. They wanted everything to just stay positive. Everything's great. If we don't talk about it, it's great. There's nothing wrong. What struggle? There's no struggle when you're in an MLM. So we see a lot of that happening in MLMs, and my puppy just came to visit. Yes, I'm talking. Do you hear me? You can't see her, and she's really too big for me to lift to show you, but here, I'll grab my phone and, oh no. Mina girl. Oh, you're too big for this space. You're too big for this space. No, please don't eat that. Leave it. Oh my gosh. Leave it. No, leave it. All done. Mina. No, baby. You gotta settle. You gotta settle. Yes. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Yes, you can stay here while I film, but you gotta settle. Leave it. Okay. Settle. Good girl. Okay. I have no idea what I last said. Now I'm so distracted. But let's take a sip of my energy drink. I'm so on the tail. Oh, this is kind of crooked. Is that my fault or Mina's fault? I'm so on the tail end of being sick, and I'm at the point where like the energy drink just gives me that little boost. Regroup. Mina's distracting me. If you hear Mina in the background, deal with it. I don't care. She's my sweet little queen, and she can be here if she wants to. She is getting so big. I've talked about this before. She's a newfie doodle, in case you were wondering. We got her to train her as an autism service dog for our son Connor, and it's gonna be a long road. She's got quite the personality. Love her for it. Can you tell I'm like, do we? Okay, so anyway, last week I hopped on a call that Usborne Books More's home office held to announce and share their rebranding, all the details. So I'm going to reference that right here next to me so I can read to you exactly what they had to say about their reasoning behind the rebrand. And then we'll talk about my thoughts on that. So their new name is Paper Pie. And their main colors, like the colors in their logo, are light blue and like a forest green, I think, or like a hunter green or something. And they do have a bunch of other colors as well. So they have the green and the blue. They have a purple, a yellow, a blue, and a red. So a full array of colors. And they kept the same purple that they used to have, because the purple in Usborne Books More was like iconic or whatever. So they kept that. So Paper Pie, I felt very underwhelmed when I saw that. I felt like it was it's a little playful, but I also think it's a little bit stale. I don't know. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. Paper Pie. Obviously, the chat for this Zoom call, everyone was like going crazy, like loving it. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter what I think, because I'm not in the MLM. So that's what's great. What they said about the name is that it's an alliterative and playful name that speaks to togetherness, I guess, like the pie part, connection, bonding, and delight. Okay. Like delighting in pie, sure. Literacy and learning tools you'll be excited to consume. I want to see what they say the reasoning was. So in one of their posts, let me find it, Usborne Books More said like why they rebranded. Home office is saying that like this rebrand now more relates to like who they are, right? As if like being tied to Usborne so closely was like holding them back in a way. And now that they like are selling, they've always sold learning wrap-ups, but they've acquired it now. And well, actually they acquired it a while ago, but now they acquired Smart Labs as well. Okay, shh, sit. Yes, stay. Oh, thank you. They're saying that like now they can diversify like their product offerings and whatever, and this is just more like them. And it's like you can say whatever you want, but like what's actually the truth, right? It's like, again, they're just gaslighting and like ignoring the fact that they are losing major brand recognition. And it's going to be really interesting to see like how this whole transition goes. And I don't know, honestly, like when they announced the rebrand, that was one of the things that like solidified for me that like I wanted to quit and be done. So I feel bad for these consultants going through this. Okay, so what does Paper Pie mean? They say that Paper Pie is for memory making, creative learning, and unlimited possibilities, all within the context of togetherness. Okay. I don't know how that really describes what Paper Pie means. I guess it's like, Mina just unplugged my light. I need treats. Oh my gosh, Mina! Ah! I'm going to get treats. All right. So I thought about kicking Mina out, but she just wants to be with me. She's just a lover. So we have a chew and we have some treats. She never wants this chew. These used to be her favorite. All right. So I'm going to put that on the floor. Girlfriend. Quick shout out to West Paw. This is not sponsored. This is not a video about my dog. But we love their air dried bison lungs. So, okay, sit. Yes. Down. Yes. stay. If you have treats, she'll do anything. Okay, so this is, I guess, where paper comes from, and then pie, okay? Paper is our medium of communication, whether it's a board book, game pieces, a series of chapter books, or creative activities. We offer exceptional, innovative, and joy-filled ways for your child to connect with learning. We're passionate about the myriad ways children consume information. As the world continues to fight for their attention with shiny screens and noisy devices, it's never felt more important for tangible literacy and learning tools to feed the imagination, grow the emotions, and nourish the mind of children. Also, I feel my voice going, so I apologize. All right, now the pie part of the name. When you think of pie, you think of something to be gathered around, something to be shared, an experience worth savoring. That's exactly what we think our products are made for. Literacy and learning as a lifestyle, stories made to share, and moments that inspire you to gather. They are generational. They are precious. They are passed down and leave a legacy. They are made, shared, and devoured with love. Okay, so reading that explanation, I actually think it's like very cute and very meaningful, and I do love that for them. But from an outside perspective, like from a customer perspective, it like doesn't have any meaning to me, you know, like it wouldn't really make sense to me. And I think introducing a totally new name for this company that people already know and love is going to be really difficult to kind of get customers to grasp onto, especially that transition. I'm kind of wondering, like, would you sit? Yes, down. Down. Yes, stay. Like, what are consultants going to do moving forward? Because I'm thinking about how I would do things. I'd be wondering, okay, well now, how do we not allow this rebrand to lessen the number of people who attend our parties? Because the majority of consultants earn the majority of their income, well, they earn the majority of their income from their override bonuses from their team making sales and growing their team. But personally, so besides that, your personal income is mostly coming from sales at online parties. So when you have a host, you have them send out this invite script, right? And you want the invite script to be as short as possible, but like still say what you want it to say, right? To like get people to want to say like, yes, I mean, invite. Down, down, yes, stay. Sorry, you're just gonna have to have me train my dog through this video. So I'm thinking like, okay, so before, like I said, Usborne is a household name. So oftentimes you could get people to come to your party because they know Usborne Books. But now what? It's like, oh, come to my paper pie party. Okay, so now our consultant's gonna find themselves wanting to like explain that it's Usborne Books. Are they just gonna ignore the new name altogether and just say like Usborne party, even though I'm pretty sure that's like against policy to say that way? That's just gonna be tricky. I predict that less people are going to attend the parties because they don't know what paper pie is. And I think that the loss of the brand recognition is really going to hurt a lot of consultants' sales. And also, like I said, I was really proud to be so closely affiliated to Usborne Publishing, like their books, like in the name. Down? Yes. And so I think that it could potentially hurt recruiting as well because there's not that draw of the brand recognition. Okay, so let's just go over some final points to make sure I say everything. Big butt. Okay, so I'm not sure when I'm going to get this video fully edited and posted. I'm hoping to do it by tomorrow, which would be December 28th, which is the day that UBAM consultants are allowed to release the new branding to their customers. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but either way, UBAM told their consultants, yes, good girl, told their consultants that they could release the new branding info on December 28th. Now, what I find hilarious is that so many people already knew all of the new branding stuff because it was released online. And so I'll share that now. It was like a Yahoo Finance News, and it was titled Educational Development Corporation, which I'm confused about, like EDC and UBAM's like relationship to each other. I don't know. I worked for them for 3.5 years and I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of like the corporate name. I don't know. But it says they are announcing their rebranding of Home Business Division. So Direct Sales Division, MLM. paper pie. And this was posted on Wednesday, December 21st. Oh, you okay there, girlfriend? And so this was released like just online publicly an entire week before UBAM allowed their consultants who have been working for them and making them money to release this info to their customers. So they like want their consultants to like hype this up, and like every consultant that I'm still friends with or follow, they're like, big changes are coming, big news is coming, da da da. And it's like literally anyone could Google like UBAM new name and like it would come up. So that's just kind of interesting to me. And I mean, it's just, again, another thing that proves that like it is not your own business. Like you don't even get to decide when this information gets released, you know? Does anyone in the do any consultants have concerns about this? And if they do, are their voices being heard? And are their concerns being validated? Or are they just being gaslit? Because if you've been watching all my anti-MLM videos, you know that gaslighting is very common in this company and really in MLMs in general. So I feel for these consultants who are probably not really being listened to, but what choice do they have, right? Like, this isn't their business. They have no choice but to go through with the rebranding as home office is doing it. And the upper level leaders who are making, you know, $100,000 a year plus, they want their teams to stay in. They want all the consultants under them who are making them money with their sales and their recruiting to stay in it, right? So that's why it's all just like positive, positive, this is great, this is awesome, blah, blah, blah. Like, because they want everyone to stay in my opinion. That's what's happening. So I think that actually hit all of my points. In my like ramblings, I hit all of my points that I wanted to get across. So now I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what you think about this rebrand. Do you agree with the points that I made? Is there anything you disagree with? Is there anything that you think I left out? Mina is licking my foot. I can't focus anymore. No, so ever since my dog came in the room, I am like a total disaster. So yeah, can't wait to hear what you have to say in the comments. I will definitely be replying to everything. So let me know. And what else do I have to say? Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.